Okay. Welcome everyone. We'll start our lesson 3. Today lesson will go through learning outcome 3, which is be able to discuss the role of legal and ethical issues in developing human resource policy. When we develop human resource policy, what legal and ethical issues we need to keep in mind and to make our policies ethically and morally correct. So that's we'll go through. Up to now, we have discussed in the previous lesson, discussed 3 M's, men, money, and material. We discuss about difference between competencies and capabilities. We discuss what is meant by human resource. We discuss about management. We discuss training and development. We quoted example of Nokia. We discussed last lesson case study as well, which I mentioned. Have you read the case study? Yes. Which I gave you case study to read. Yes. Hope so you read it. Yes. Okay. So we'll start today. We'll go to human resource planning, and within a human resource planning, when we need to look around ethical and moral issues. Okay. So last lesson I mentioned you human resource, and this is the mind map. Today we'll be focused about legislation. Those are rules. We discuss about grievances, procedures, and other moral issues as well. So that will be key focus. So today lesson we have an indicative content. What we're supposed to be learn is the human resource policies, selection, recruitment, discipline, pay, health and safety, bullying, harassment, all these legislations which we'll go through, and they will discuss other implied and implied rights. We'll go through moral and ethical, harassment, racism, gender pay gap, favoritism. That's huge issues at the moment, and compliance. And the grievances. All this will be focused in our discussion. So 3.1, we have the assessment criteria. Explain the purpose of human resource policy. So why we need to really prepare the policy? If we don't have a policy, what will be happen then? What do you think? Why human resource policy we need to develop? Okay, if we don't have a policy, we don't have a rules. So really we can't. So that's why we set SOPs. This word maybe we heard a lot. Yes, standard operating procedures in our organization. We need to meet our legal and moral responsibility. So as a definition of organization is an artificial person. It should be treat other human being equally. So it's artificial. It's not real person, but it's an artificial person. So it's a moral responsibility as an organization to be treat other people equally. So we need to look around our purpose, our greatest asset. So our people are the greatest asset. So most important asset in any organization is a human being. Nothing is more important than our employees. Effective human resource management has become a more important recent years. So here are some reasons why most of the businesses now provide services rather than produce goods. So more we deal with the people. People are the critical resource in the quality and the customer service. So you have wonderful product but very poor customer service. So it's a very difficult to sustain in our organization because we have a competition. Apart from the local suppliers, we have a competition throughout the world. So that's why it's a very crucial. We have to be keep our values and keep happy. So that's why we need a policy. Competitive requirement of business to efficient and productive. We need to be motivated workforce, have skills. We have a few layer of management, flattered structure of organization. So that's why a couple of you maybe watch the program. It's called Undercover Boss. It's quite good to watch. Big companies, how the big boss is going undercover and how they try to be learn about the reality, ground reality. So that is a crucial. Okay, so human resource management usually short and HRM is defined according to CIP, which we started Institute of Personnel Development. The design, implementation, and maintenance of strategy to manage people for optimum business performance. In other words, human resource people management by business in order to meet the strategic objective as an organization long-term objective. It can be through we need a workforce planning, we need recruitment and selection, we need to be training and development. So all these are the crucial things and we need a policies for this. Okay, recruitment. All the firms know that the recruitment of the very best applicant can help to give the firm competitive edge and competitive advantage. So that is quite crucial, competitive advantage. It can be only come when the worker will meet the expectation of clients. Yes, and more productivity. So we need to be productive. So last, the previous lesson we discussed about performance equal to time, cost, and quality. So all these are very important, and we need to make sure we'll manage all this. So what the jobs involve? Job description. We calculate, look around the personal specification which is required. So that is a crucial as for the organization to achieve its objective. Okay, next we look around the human resource which we discussed. Recruitment and selection, job vacancy arise, job description, personal specification, advertise the job in the right media, internal, external. Yes, you shortlist your potential applicants, potential implies for future shortlisting take place, interviews. So that's interview process which we discuss about. One of method I mentioned you, star-based interview. So most of the company is using this method. Is called STAR method of interview. STAR stand for situation, T stand for task, A stand for action, and R stand for result. So always good to be pleased is when you go for any interview, good to be watch this STAR method of interview, which we'll go through next lesson as well. Okay, right employees, that's quite crucial. We to recruit the employees, and they have a rights as well. So selection process is about the choosing the right candidate for the job, and always we need to be make sure the person will choose for the role meet the requirement and help us to be achieve the organization objective. Okay, next. Okay, I am going to send you the case study which is called Recruitment and Selection Enterprise Rent-A-Car. So we have a company, it's called Enterprise Rent-A-Car in UK, quite fast growing organization, which is one of American organization. They have opened many offices in UK. So Enterprise Rent-A-Car is the role of human resource management, workforce planning, attracting employees, what policies, recruitment and selections, a selection process, how they do, a screening, CV, shortlisting, coaching, mentoring, all, so all is being discussed in this case study. Please make sure, you read this case study before next lesson. That also help us to be develop our understanding about HR and human resource management. Anybody, any question, please? Any question from anyone? If you have, please. Okay, let's move to the next. Okay, contract of employment. What is meant by contract? Contract is mean offer and acceptance. So contract, I don't know the reason. Contract is offer and acceptance. So we should have a contract It's a legal responsibility of an employer to give the contract to employees. If they don't give the contract to employees, then they are breaking the law. So that's why it's a crucial. A contract of employees exists as soon as the employees start the job, start the work we need to be. By starting, it's provide he or she accept the term and condition should be written in the contract. And contract is a verbally agreed and not written. It can be verbal even. Employees are, however, entitled by law to be given the written statement and particular employment within 2 months of starting work. What are the rights and responsibility of employees and the contract of the employment? That's we must need to give. So in this always is written the right of employees like maternity leave, paternity leaves. We have here with pay, flexible working. We can't really discriminate based on all these, and trade union representation. If somebody is a member of trade union, we can't discriminate. Grievances procedure, minimum wage. So we have a national minimum wage. Anyone know minimum wage? How much is it? Minimum wage here in the UK. Yes, we all information gov.uk we can find. We have £8.75 per hour. That is a compulsory for employer to pay this salary, and first £12,500 is no tax, and after this individual need to pay 20% tax, and plus NI is called national insurance that goes towards pension. That's also crucial. So we need to be make sure we obey the, and NI employer also contribute towards pension, like in especially in universities, employees pays 8%, employers pay 23% pension around, and employees pays 8% contribution from their salary. So they technically they are saving 31% every month of the wage. So that's the legislation we have to follow. Maximum working, okay, 37 hours is a contract considered as a full time. So you can't give job somebody more than 84 hours per week. It's if any employees is health effective after this, so as an employer you can be charged as a criminal, as a murder of somebody, because you're giving employees are working more than 85, health issues can be raised. So that's paid holidays. So that can be varies, but every month 2.5 holidays is authorized by individuals. Those are full-time employees. Around 28 days holidays in a year. Okay, so that's we have all these are the legislation. Anybody any question if you want to inquire? Okay, then responsibility to work the contract. Implied term we have, be ready and willing to work. Use reasonable care and skill to obey the law and order, to take the employer property, good care about it, not steals and misuse of property, to act in the good faith. Yes, so that's about the term of the contract. We have a organization is called Advisory Arbitration Services. We call ACE. Yes, we code of practice which we need to be. These are ethical rules. Roles. Yes, we need to be employer, and employee should act consistently. Employer should carry out any necessary investigation if need to. Employers should inform to employee the basis of problems, put their case, accomplish. If we have any grievances, anything should be appeal process. There should be a compliance department. So that is a crucial in our organization. Okay, then next we have 3.2, assess the impact of the regulatory and the legal framework. So human resource policies are established in an organization to support the administrative function, and performance management, employees relation, resource planning is a crucial. Human resource policies are formal rule and a guidance that the company put in place to hire, train, assess, and reward the members. That's all policies we need to in place. So then we have, when we give the contract, full is part-time, working from home, advantage, all this working regulations should explain. Permanent, temporary, track and disadvantage, fair, term, working, annual hours, all should be discussed. Grievances and appeal. So it's the employer responsibility to give the employee staff handbook. Yes, that should be provided. Grievances procedure should be written. If you have against employer disciplinary procedures under the Contract Employment Act 1972 and 75. Further, we have Equality and Diversity Act 2010. So these are all the UK legislation. Equality and Diversity Act 2010. We can't really discriminate based on race, color, or belief. We should give the equal opportunities. But unfortunately, it's a carry on happening discrimination, but by law, everyone is equal. So that should be protected. Okay, so that's we need to. Then we have a Health and Safety Act 1974. Which year? 1974 Health and Safety Act. Okay, it's a everyone responsibility. If your employer not provide you safety shoes, safety helmets, or other the safety equipment, it can be charged as a criminal and can be in prison even as well. So we need to make sure as an employee, if we been provided and we not meeting it, it can be terminate your contract because you've been given, and it's a responsibility of care of everyone action. So that we have a Health and Safety Act 1974. Okay, I included one of the case study. We have a company called Pote Cabin. They make mobile houses and they're adding value through the health and safety. So I included one of the case study that will be available on Moodle, and I'll send you as well. It's a Pote Cabin. So please make sure you read this as well. How the health and safety they use to increase and enhance the productivity. So that's we need to make sure please read. Then we have fairness and protections during employment. We have under the Health and Safety and Employment Act, data protection. No one's data, we can't sell it. Data we need to make sure. We have a new data legislation recently, GDPR. It's called General Data Protection Regulation 920. We can't really move our call center, our payroll department without the permission of the GDPR. It's called ICO. It's called Information Commission Office in UK. We can't really move the things outside EU without the permission from ICO, Information Commission Office. Any question, anyone? Family-friendly laws. Of course, we have to provide the maternity, paternity leaves. So right after maternity, 52 weeks, 39, secretary with the payments, yes, is subject to. So that's we need to yes, all these, the rules being this carry on changing. So if you want to consult more, so each of your country where you're from, we have a legislation, so we have to follow emergency leave, yes, family, any, the so that's, disability uh, shouldn't be and we have a new legislation is called flexible working hours. So that's we need to be make sure we'll follow this as well. Okay. Then we have a 3.3, assess the impact of ethical. So in a world of increased reporting and corporate scandal, there are the recognition and develop the sustainable organization practices. So we need to be more ethical. Like, recently we have a company called Prox. They have stitching office and making clothes in Bangladesh. The building was fired, and it's still the case in the European Court of Justice. Who's the fault? Actually, the fault of Primark. They shouldn't be give the contract where the child labor involved, where the health and safety issues not being properly followed in those countries as well. Because you, as a company, you have morally, so be an ethical HR manager, conflict between the colleague. So that need to be addressed. You need to be clearly policies and procedures need to be in place. At the moment, is a big issue still in the developed countries as gender pay gap. That's, now BBC and various other organizations, they have to publish the report. The male, female, if they have a same role, they should get the same salary. So that's, the big issue at the moment is happening. So that is a huge, discussion is going around on these issues. Okay, then anybody, any question, please, you can ask. ACS code of practices, raise and ideally issues promptly, act, consistently, is all about to improve the ethical and moral values within our organization. If they have issues, it need to be arranged the meeting, discuss, and they should be have a compliance department within our organization. So ideally 3 days written notice if you have, include the copies of evidence. If you can't really dismiss, only you can dismiss if somebody not comply with the rules. Okay, so right to be accomplished, a fellow workers, a union rep, and the minutes, should be take and should be give the opportunity if you're somebody you're going to dismiss. Review your evidence, prepare the question. Otherwise, we have an employment tribunal and can be, and a lot of people got really, because if the company not provide you high, like, the reflective jackets, and you fell down and you're working in a warehouse environment, and then of course it's a real happened, the guy got 50,000 pound damages. Yeah. So it's a huge injury claims that's happening, and that's, the employer responsibility to provide, and employer not provided that thing. So we need to be look around. People are always exploring these things as well. Of course, disciplinary actions, we need to be secret recording. No, it's not. It's need to be reasonable sanctions, state the reason and improvement. We need to expect it at the time of reviews. That can be gross misconduct. We need to be we have to be, and we should have a separate department. Appeal process, we need to be set up in our organization. If we don't, really we can't. And we need to be make sure we have a grievances procedure, establish the facts, note formal hearing. This is all the guidance from ACAS, the organization recommendations we need to draw. We need to clearly dignity and responsibility as a manager, as a HR person, deal and develop the report. Because actually, what we want to be, transparency. We treat people like to be treated. So that's why is a crucial thing. We should treat people like to be treated, and that can only be happen if we have clear policies and procedures in place. Okay, that's we need to. Responsibilities, it's your responsibility to ensure employees undertake what happening and has a positive experience during the meeting. If you have a meeting with, and you make sure you have a records of all your meeting, you should have a signed documents. So that's, we need to be make sure. Okay, then I included a quiz a little bit, so what you can do, please, is a short. So you can copy and paste this link and you can play with this quiz. Employment quiz is about the employment legislations. Maybe couple of legislation you're not aware of because of course, each country have a different legislation. So if you don't want to use these legislation, we can use the legislation where we from. Yes, to address the learning outcome, which we'll go through when we'll do the assignment discussion. Okay, so today lesson we discuss about contract, employment laws, policies, procedures, why those are crucial. We discuss about major legislation. We have Health and Safety Act 1974. We have a GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation 2018, and old law was DPA, is called Data Protection Act 1998 in the UK, and Equality and Diversity Act 2010, which was updated. And under this, everyone treat to be, and other we have at the moment British values, rule of law, democracy, yeah, and all these, the 5 values being set. So, as an organization, we all need to be follow, and within our policies should be embedded. So that's all today lesson. Anybody any question, please? Any question? Yes or no? Sorry, I think so. Some people are carry on joining and dropping. So that's all today. Thanks for attending this session. And if you have any question, drop me email. And the next lesson we'll go through our LO4.